After spending hours of watching videos about Unity, I have been convinced that it is a terrible game engine and you shouldn't use it. Or should you? I want to talk about why I use Unity and maybe why you shouldn't. To be honest, I started using Unity because I had to. When I was getting my computer science degree, I took a few game development electives, and specifically in the game programming class, we used the Unity game engine. I actually found this pretty helpful because I didn't have to worry about choosing a game engine or creating one. I was just thrown into the water and had to learn how to swim. With that being said, you should probably choose something and stick with it. It doesn't have to be Unity, Unreal, or Godot. You could honestly create your own game engine, but just learn as much as you can with whatever you choose to do. So here are a few reasons why I'm still using Unity. Unity is easy to use. It has a small learning curve, but it quickly levels out. You can choose to go as in-depth as you want or need, but a deep understanding of the Unity game engine is not necessarily required to create a game in it. Usually you can get an idea out pretty quickly and create a prototype. If you look at a lot of game jams, I believe Unity is probably the engine of choice just because you can prototype a game pretty quickly in it. The community for Unity game development is huge. This means there's a ton of information that you can find when you need it. Everything from videos, wikis, articles, documentation. If you need help, usually you can find something in at least 2 of those forms. And then of course there's the Unity Asset Store. For some reason, a lot of people use the Unity Asset Store as a negative because there are a lot of amateur asset packages and there seems to be a lack of quality assurance. I haven't necessarily found this to be true. For one, you get to decide if you buy something or not, or include a free asset into your game. So you should probably put in the time to make sure what you purchase is of the quality that you expect. Number 2, I have personally tried to sell editor tools and it was denied because it wasn't something they were looking for at the time. My point is Unity typically doesn't allow just anything on the asset store, even if it's free. I have discovered the beauty of C#. I have a degree in computer science focused on systems programming.
I'm kind of a big deal.
So I'm very familiar with C and C++, and I use Java on a daily basis in my professional career. I would never want to code in those languages as a hobby, except maybe C. Compared to those languages, I actually find C# is fun to program in. It has everything you want and need in an object-oriented language. Granted, Unity C# is outdated, but it still has everything that makes C# great. Well, you know, except for the new cool stuff. Unity is extensible. As a software engineer, I find myself customizing and extending the Unity editor all the time. And the best part is you can sell these tools on the Unity Asset Store. If it solves your problem, then it will probably solve other people's problems. If Unity is so great, then why shouldn't you use it for your game? As I mentioned before, C# is a huge part of the Unity game engine. While I personally love programming, I know not everybody does and not everybody has a basic understanding of programming principles. If that's the case, then visual scripting packages might be for you. There might actually be some for Unity, but I do know that the Unreal game engine has a very popular visual scripting language. In fact, most of the indie game devs I see on YouTube that use Unreal are usually using the visual scripting system. So if coding isn't for you, then maybe look into some type of visual scripting solution for the game engine that you're interested in. Performance. If you have a game that requires you to carefully manage the memory, or you are a psychopath and you really enjoy managing the memory yourself,
stop it. Get some help.
Then Unity, or basically any third-party game engine for that matter, probably isn't for you. C# is a garbage collected language, and it's not as efficient as managing the memory yourself in a language like C++. Also, if you don't like the object-oriented paradigm, and think it's not an efficient solution for games, then Unity is definitely not for you. You're probably better off creating your own game engine, personalized for your specific game written in C++. Or you can wait for Jonathan Blow to finish his language Jai and create a game in that.
C++ is a really terrible, terrible language.
Unity is not open source. Normally this would be a deal breaker for me, but Unity is pretty good at listening to feedback and releasing regular patches. I like contributing to a code base, especially if I find a bug that I can just fix myself, but I can't do that with Unity, which can be annoying. If you find it absolutely necessary to contribute to an open source game engine, then you should probably look at an engine like Godot, which is completely open source. Unity, Unreal, and Godot are probably the top 3 game engines right now, and for a reason. They are all good. You you probably can't go wrong choosing any one of those engines to create a game in. When you're deciding on a game engine, you need to decide what's best for you, your game, your project, your team, and go all in with that. You can easily create a prototype in each engine and make an educated guess on which one you like or which one fits your project the best. Or you can create your own game engine from scratch. I hope this helps because I know there's a lot of videos trashing almost every game engine out there. And then of course there are those that believe you shouldn't use any game engine and you just need to be creating your own game engine or use their engine because it's the most efficient out there. And there's a lot of nonsense and it's hard to shuffle through all that and choose what engine you think is best for you. But what I found the most useful, again, is choose an engine and go with it. You can always change your mind.